Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I am Chase Hunter. If you are new here, welcome and thanks for joining. Please stick around and subscribe so that I can get to know you and you can get to know me. So I've gotten quite a few views and comments on this video right here. And I understand that it has so much interest and that it's something that you are interested in and you have questions. So let's get into it. So that being said, that I've completed an entire process once of getting compliant with the Detroit Land Bank and halfway through the last land bank property. So I know you have a lot of questions that I can probably answer for you, especially since most of you have the same questions in the comments. Yes, I read every last one of them. And I've responded to those, so go back and catch those. All right, so I've watched a few videos from other creators that are doing pretty much the same thing, and what I think we are all missing are the cold hard facts and numbers. So while I can't fit everything into this video, I will bring more videos and take a deeper look at things like the cost of the rehab and where I found my team and how I manage the rehabs and the properties with tenants and all that jazz. All right, so let's go. And I'll also share with you all of my mistakes as well, because nobody's perfect. All right, so question number one that I always get: how much do you think the rehab is going to be? And I always say kind of around $50 to $70 per square foot, but it depends on things like the roof, the foundation, and other things that you actually cannot see until you get the walls open, right? And that's if you do a full gut renovation and things change. So whereas one property, it may be a cosmetic where it's $20,000, $25,000, $30,000, a full gut with all the things wrong, if you're assuming all the things can go wrong, can be $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, even $100,000. All right, so I know that's kind of broad, but at the same time you have to consider the size of the property and some of the issues that you could have if it needs a new roof or foundation, and what's going on behind the walls, because you may need to repair some joists or, you know, replace wood, and the cost of materials are very expensive. So you will not know that until you get into the project itself. But just go ahead and plan for the higher end of 40, 50, right? That's kind of low, but start there. Next question: how do you find reliable contractors? Whew, that's a tough one. So I've found them quite a few ways, like referrals from other investors. I found a few in the Facebook groups, the Detroit Land Bank repair and investment groups and things like that. So I am in maybe about 8-9 groups where I find different contractors. Also, places like Home Depot. I found a couple in Home Depot, and then you can pull up on their jobs. If you are driving in Detroit and you see work being done, and stop, walk around, can you walk around the property and check out the work, because it's nothing like seeing it firsthand. You can kind of take a look at their crew. You can see if the crew is working. You can see if the crew is drinking. You can see if the crew is smoking. You can tell all of that. If they are actually working or if they're taking breaks, you can kind of check out the quality of the work also. So it's great to, when you do find someone online, and because that's primarily where you're going to find it, and you know, through references and things like that, make sure you go and check their work. Next question: how do you manage your properties? Whew, great question. So especially being out of state, I have to have some really tight systems and processes in place. So I do a really great job at vetting my tenants and making sure that they go through the entire process of doing a background check and a credit check and a rental history check. All of those things must be done in order for them to get approved, in order to move to the next step. Now, I do have a link that I'll post below, and I use so that you as a landlord can get a discount on RentRedi. RentRedi is one of the ways that I also keep everything organized with the tenants and keep their files in it, and as well as their payments as well. It keeps a really good rent roll and a constant flow of what needs to be done. Even when it comes to maintenance requests, they can fill everything out in the app, in the tenant portal, because there's an app for it, which is so helpful. So managing the tenants, they're really, I mean, it's really cool, it's really easy. You know, if they have a maintenance issue, they just fill out a request in the maintenance app. I jump on it. If it's something urgent or if it's something, you know, not important, I just make sure that I communicate with them on when the issue will be taken care of. But there are ways. I mean, it's super easy. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, I don't want to manage tenants, or I got to get a property management company. But I feel like I still have a number of properties that can be handled by me, and then I really, me personally, like the hands-on. I like walking the properties. I like knowing what's going on with each and every tenant, and I feel like sometimes you just won't know that with a property management company. So those are some ways that I manage my tenants. Next question, what order should I go in for repairs? Okay, so the first thing that I always say is make sure that you secure your property. You want to secure the doors and the windows. You want to make sure that you have them boarded up, or you have them in such a way. I have DAWS doors, and I'll show you guys here of what exactly they look like. But this is one of the things that made me feel so secure, and making sure that everything in my property was secure and locked up, and there wasn't going to be any vandalism or anything like that. Even though I have insurance, still, I just wanted to take every proper measure to secure my property. So the next thing I would say, go from roof to basement, if it has a basement. So the next thing you want to do is get a roof, if you need a new roof, right? So because that can cause more damage to your property if you do not get a good roof, right? So it could, you know, the harsh weather, it could be a lot of rain, it could be a lot of snow, and all of those elements continuously coming in can damage the wood and then have rot and just cause way more damage. So if you can stop it as soon as possible by getting a new roof, by all means, get a new roof, all right? The next thing is to check the foundation. Make sure the foundation is solid, because you may have 5, 6, 7 years left in your foundation, right? And foundations last about a good 50 years, 50, 60 years. So this property right here that we are rehabbing, it had about 5 to 7 years left on the foundation before it was going to take a major shift, right? So we caught it early enough so where it wasn't a lot of damage, it didn't do any damage at all, and we were able to stop the shifting in the foundation before it got really costly and caused more problems. So the foundation is a very good thing to go ahead and get looked at, because this property, again, it was like 63 years old, so it was about that time where it was about to start wearing, and it was really time for a new foundation. So you can get at least 50, 60 more years once you repair the foundation. The next thing, get the mechanicals done. Make sure all the systems are together. You want your electrical, you want your plumbing, you want your HVAC. You want to start getting those things in, because you may have, you know, gas lines that are cut, water lines that are cut, and you don't know until, again, you get in there, right? Sometimes the properties are marked, but and you'll know if the water line is cut and that could be a very, very expensive problem, but you won't know until you get in there. So go ahead and get in there and get the mechanicals done, okay? The next thing you want to do is windows and doors. Make sure you can start replacing the plywood if you had it boarded up, but you want to start ordering the windows, because sometimes the lead time, especially in the spring and summer, there's a 5 to 6 week lead time for the windows and ordering the windows, especially if they don't have them in stock and they have to custom make them and all that jazz. So make sure that you get your windows and doors next. Then next thing, you put the house back together. All right, put it all back together. That's the easy part. Once the drywall and everything, all that's, you know, start going up, the process goes very quick. But you really want to go in that order, because it'll help you stay on track, help you stay on budget, and help you get all the things done that you need to get done. Next thing, how long do you have to rehab the house? Ooh, now the land bank will tell you that it takes 6 to 9 months, that you have 6 to 9 months in order to rehab the property. However, I know people that's, you know, been rehabbing and, you know, trying to get out of compliance for like 2 years or so. I myself am knocking at 9 months on the second property. The first property, we got out of compliance in 4 months, but that's very highly unlikely, right? We went in guns blazing, we were ready. This one, we had a little bit more to do, and we were taking our time because we were really getting great quotes and we didn't want to go over budget, and we were really in no rush, right? So we just wanted to make sure that we got everything that we needed to get done first: roof, foundation, mechanicals, things already solid and set before we kind of put the house back together. But you do have as much time as you need, in short, to answer that question, as long as you are in good communication with your compliance officer. You have to have good communication. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. You have to have good communication with your compliance officer in order to get those extensions granted, right? Because they'll give you, if you ask, say, hey, I need a little bit more time, especially if the weather is crazy and they can't work. Contractors won't come out, especially if it's something having to do with outside the house. They know that conditions are really, really bad and no one's going to work in that weather. So they will grant you an extension, but you have to stay in communication and you have to do something, show some type of progress that you're working on the house. Even if it's, I don't know, cleaning it out, replacing windows, doing one window at a time, or adding something, but try to do as much as you can with the budget that you have. So there are several more that I will put in other videos, and I don't want to overload you with all this information because it is a lot. And I want you to be able to process all of this, because you have to be the one to decide if this is really the thing for you, if this is the side of investing that you really want to get into. I tried it. I'm not a fan, but I did get a lot out of it, and I made it work for me by having some cash flowing properties. So if you have any specific questions that you would like me to answer, drop them down below in the comment section. Give me a little time. I will get to every last one and I will answer everyone. Please stay connected by liking, rating, and subscribing to the channel, and you will see me in the next video.